there are many paths, but not all lead to the highest realization, to the highest divine planes. Actually, there are many paths that bring seekers only halfway. There are even more paths that bring seekers only to the common spirituality. Divine path is something beyond all of that. Divine path is beyond non-duality. It is beyond non-dual teachings. It is beyond the non-dual space where the dual energies are transcended. It is beyond the awareness stage of awakening. The divine path is even beyond the Param Shiva, Param Brahman awakening, which is the pinnacle of most of the Hindu traditions. And throughout the ages, there has always been a few Sat Gurus who have threaded the divine path, the path beyond all of these other advanced stages of realization. Even the modern traditions and the ancient ones, for example, Buddhism as a whole, is aimed at the region, the Supra-Cosmic region, the Brahmanda region as a tradition itself. Although Buddha himself was beyond that. But the Buddhism in all of its forms as a tradition, even the highest teachings of Buddhism that are available today, can bring the soul maximum up to the Brahmanda region. It is only a few monks, Buddha of course himself, and only a few monks that ever went higher than that, deeper than that. And this is only transmitted very secretly, we may say, very close, keptly, from guru to disciple, initiate directly. In all traditions, the same as many yoga paths, there are only few paths that the Sadgurus have opened up to the divine path. Now, divine, what does it mean? In its truest essence, the divine means that which is beyond Brahmanda, the 21 universes of which one is ours. The divine is beyond the Brahmanda of 700 quadrillion universes. The divine path is, we may say, a secret path that only very few souls ever traverse it. It is very clearly indicated in the Krishna cosmology, where it is portrayed that the soul may go beyond this universe into the Karana ocean of material universes. And transcending the material universes is a region called Brahma Jyoti. And they beautifully have depicted that this is where most of the jnana yogis rise up to, the light for the material universes. And there is a secret doorway which only through that doorway one rises up to these supra-cosmic regions. In that light of the highest self, there is a secret doorway that leads into Brahmanda, the 700 quadrillion universes and the light that sustains them. So along this journey, there are many secret doorways for the soul to pass. And if one doesn't have a direct teacher, guru to guide them through it, one will never know that they even exist. It is the same thing with Krishna and Krishna movement, Krishna consciousness. That they have identified the Brahmanda region, and they assume that that is the highest. While Krishna himself was and is the avatar and perfect master of the divine path beyond the cosmology that is given and portrayed in the Krishna movement itself. So we find the same situation with Buddha, that Krishna as well have reached these highest stages, but their common cosmology, their common religion or tradition does not bring them up there, apart from very few selected Sat Gurus. The divine paths are only very few, and we have a grace, a privilege to have fully threaded one of those paths. And to share something more personal, I have not only threaded one of those paths, but I'm aware of 7 paths. And on each of them, have threaded also to a certain degree. These paths are very different from each other, just like Buddhism and Hinduism, they're so different. And yet, for my soul, it is a great joy to see the commonality and the differences of these paths. They all ultimately lead the soul to these highest divine regions. Now, what is the difference between self-realization and the divine path in itself? Self-realization, especially the Advaita tradition, which we also teach, is a highway when it is connected with consciousness transmissions. Self-realization is a rocket ship with consciousness transmissions to allow you to sit on this rocket and rise through all the planes of existence and overcome the major obstacles that you encounter that block your access to the source. So the very first part of our path, the Divine Marga Path, our tradition, is to assist you to rise into your full consciousness so that you have access to it. You sit on the rocket ship, you receive transmissions, we pierce through the obstacles so that you can reopen and regain your access to the source, to the light, to your natural self. Usually takes a couple of years to rise up to your full consciousness. And in our community, there is already plenty of people who have risen above. So this is the task number 1. This is very important for you because you regain access. It's no longer blocked. The key obstacles, the major obstacles are worked through. The second key step of the Divine Marga, Divine Path is now to return back to complete all the works, all the karmas of your soul. You see, imagine you have left your home country and went to India. So it means that you have left everything back home. You have left your parents, your relatives, maybe your house is still back home, and you still pay taxes back home, and you have many friends and so on. But then you sat on a plane, on a rocket ship, and you went to India, high, high up. Now you have arrived to India, but everything is still back home. All the relationships, all the possessions, all the things are still back home. And this is the analogy of what happens when we rise into the full consciousness over a couple of years. You can easily rise up, but everything else is left behind. So now the second most important step is to look at what is left back home. What is left for your soul to complete its karmas, its involvements, its attachments. And when the soul completes everything along the way, this is also what is correlated, we may say, with the advancement. On our website, we have a page called Advancement of Spiritual Teachers. And there we can see that although many of them are in full consciousness, but their advancement varies to a great degree. So there is a huge difference between, let's say, Alan Watts as a spiritual teacher versus Sai Baba of Shirdi. There is such a huge difference that they cannot be compared at all by any means. Anyways, this is just one example. I will not go into details of it. So the completions of the soul, karmas, learnings, the advancement of the soul is correlated on that page of the advancement of spiritual teachers. And generally, once a soul completes all of its works, and when it reaches the divine region where it becomes fully liberated soul, fully liberated, it means that it has completed everything below, everything. Not only on a rocket ship, rised up and opened up, and so, oh, this is divine, this is amazing, so much love, so much bliss, and so on, but so much business is left behind. So much more is to be done, to be completed. So this is a difference between somebody who came to realization of the divine or the self, the source or full consciousness, versus a soul who has completed everything below. This is a big, big, big difference. This takes time, and what we can see that of the completions of the soul works, it can take as little as 5 years, as long as many, many lifetimes to come. At the New Humanity Divine Marga, we give instructions of how to do these completions. For those of our students who have reached at least the level of divine love, which is also correlated on numerical scale as 850. In our organization and our tradition, we also pay attention to where we are on this earth and what's happening here. We're not isolated from this earth. So we are here for the highest service for the planet, for humanity at large. It's been more than 15 years that we were hosting at the right time, at specific alignments, the global meetings to hold the light for the earth, for what's happening here, to assist humanity as a whole in its trajectory. Humanity as a whole is, of course, resonating still at quite low degree. And then with all of you, we're working at much, much higher degrees. Only few special souls are ready for the higher nature of teachings and traversing the higher planes of existence. These are some of the key understanding of what is a divine path. Therefore, these teachings, we may say it's not even a teaching, it's divine knowledge. And you can only learn these things when you actually get there, when you actually traverse these stages. The gurus, sadgurus, and all the guides, each of them specialize in certain areas. So generally speaking, a guru will only bring you into the region of Brahmanda and best case into the Brahma Jyoti, which is the light for the Brahmanda regions. A Sadguru can bring you higher up. And by a definition, a Sadguru is the one who can bring you all the way up into the divine, the first region of divine. And even there, beyond that, there are 6 more major planes that now we can say Adi Sadgurus or avatars can bring you further up there. For the soul to rise from the first divine region into the upper higher divine regions, it's already the joyous attainment for those who are willing and gaining certain deeper maturity and higher advancement as a soul in those higher divine regions. And it's important to understand that first and foremost is to rise up into your full consciousness, because this gives access, openness. You get to taste what is up there, what is in those higher regions. And then we traverse the works of completion, of burning off all remaining karma below. Once you explore many of the teachings, some of the higher realized beings, they point at this. They speak of karmas and completions. But yet, if the guru is realized at the level of Brahmanda or Brahma Jyoti, they will only naturally be able to help their students to complete their karmas up to that level. You see, liberation also has many meanings. You can become liberated from a forced reincarnation on the 3D planet Earth. That is already liberation. You can become liberated from incarnations in the biophysical universe. You can become liberated from incarnations of the Brahmanda universes and dwell as a soul in the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgent light of the self. You can become liberated and become a free soul to explore all the 700 quadrillion universes which have no negative polarity anymore. And you become truly liberated as a soul when you reach the divine region. then you are no longer dependent as a soul on any creation and cycles below. So when I say that you become fully liberated as a soul, it doesn't mean that if you still have a physical body, it doesn't mean that the physical body doesn't need any more food or rest. Physical body needs what it needs. And the same thing is with your higher vehicles of consciousness. But what that means is that there's no more karma behind these vehicles of consciousness. They may still have their needs, such as rest or food, but there's no more karma attached to this body. There is no more karma attached to the other higher vehicles of consciousness. So literally the soul is free. When this body drops, the body drops. The soul is free to do what it wants to do. It is free to dissolve the subtle bodies, the higher self. It is free to drop the I am presence, or it is free actually if it wants to manifest a body of I am presence or a higher self. So the soul then simply according to its wishes, according to its mission or what it wants to experience, it can choose the vehicles of consciousness for any purpose. Just like if you go to colder countries, you buy some warmer clothes, a big coat, and gloves and hat and big shoes and so on to feel warm. And then when you go to tropical countries, you just leave all those heavy clothes behind and just get your slippers and swimming suit and enjoy the warm weather. So the same way the soul can simply take on any vehicle of consciousness and leave it. Now, being in the physical body, generally, when a soul advances and traverses all these regions, we may say there is one applicable definition being a God man or God woman, because the soul is free. You have realized that you are God. You are the light of pure consciousness, divine source. And since the soul has cleared all the karma, you become a man of God, God man or God woman. This is the real meaning behind these words. Now, of course, there is so much more to explain of the divine path, and thus you may have more conscious awareness of this greater path that is ahead of you, with many, many rewards along the way, many gifts to come, many completions to be completed. It is the most fulfilling path of all. It is not a dry path of non-duality. When non-duality lacks heart, love, and soul, it becomes very dry. I'm not this, I'm not that, I am the light of awareness, that's it. And then you can only mentally contemplate on these concepts. But when it becomes connected with the heart and with the soul, even more so, then this path is the most fulfilling path of all. Of course, we're not the first, but we are ones of very, very few. And I mentioned that there have been divine paths on earth. So you're becoming aware of this highway, this rocket ship going up. We may say that Divine Marga is a unifying path. It is the path that incorporates all paths. It is not the only path. I need to stress this out. There is no only path. but it can be a unified path that acknowledges all of the paths and utilizes their best aspects to assist souls to go up in the most supportive way according to what you need, what your soul needs. This is the beauty and the extensiveness of the work that we have at our hand. This is a special gift that we have, and we never camped. We always moved forward. We always reveal more. We always show you more and show you in different ways. So this is the gift, the beauty of the divine Marga, divine path.